I've seen way too many people rush out the door with a cheap massage pad that ends up feeling like a vibrating pillow and then wonder why the tension never really goes away. The regret is real. Those low-priced gadgets promise a spa-like experience but leave you with a sore back and an empty wallet. When you're standing in the aisle, eyeing the glossy brochures, you start asking yourself, is there a chair out there that actually lives up to the hype, or am I just swapping one disappointment for another? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The hesitation I hear most often is simple: what if I spend a few $100s and it turns out to be another piece of furniture I never use? That fear isn't unfounded. A massage chair is a commitment of space, electricity, and most importantly your trust that the machine will reach the right muscles at the right intensity without turning your living room into a noisy workshop. I've spent the last few weeks reading through the specs, watching a handful of unboxings, and even trying to simulate a few typical use cases in my own apartment to see whether the REDNGO full-body model actually justifies its place in a home setting. First off, the category itself is a little tricky. A good chair has to fit a wide range of body types, deliver enough pressure to feel therapeutic, and do it quietly enough that you could run a conversation or a Netflix show in the background. The footprint matters too. If the chair is as big as a small couch, you'll have to rearrange the whole room. Controls need to be intuitive, otherwise you spend more time fiddling with buttons than relaxing. And finally, there's the question of whether it can truly replace a few monthly trips to a spa or a post-workout recovery session. The REDNGO tries to address those pain points with a few standout design choices. Its most advanced 3D mechanism means the rollers move not just up and down, but also side to side, mimicking the way a human therapist would work around your spine. In practice, that translates to a feeling that the chair is actually tracking the curve of your back rather than just pounding straight down. For someone who spends long hours at a desk, that nuanced motion can feel noticeably deeper, especially around the lumbar region where tension builds up. What really sets this model apart is the extra-long S-track. Most chairs stop their massage wave somewhere around the mid-back, but the S-track stretches down to the lower back and even reaches the calves. I tried it with a friend who is 6 feet 2 inches. The standard size chairs left his lower back and hamstrings untouched, but the REDNGO's extended range actually engaged those muscles. For taller users or anyone who experiences tightness in the calves after running, that added coverage is a practical benefit you can actually feel, not just a marketing line. Zero gravity is another buzzword that gets thrown around, but the principle is simple. By reclining you take the pressure off the spine and allow blood to flow more freely. The REDNGO's zero-gravity tilt locks into place and feels solid, so you can stay in that position for the full 20-minute session without wobbling. In a real-world scenario, imagine finishing a marathon training run and sliding into the chair. The tilt helps you transition from a high-impact stance to a relaxed posture, which can reduce post-run soreness more effectively than a regular recliner. Foot rollers and a built-in yoga stretching mode are also part of the package. The rollers glide under the feet, applying pressure that mimics a deep tissue foot massage. When paired with the stretch program, the chair gently extends the ankles and calves, which is useful for anyone who stands on their feet all day. Think teachers, retail workers, or kitchen staff. I tested the foot rollers after a 12-hour shift, and the combination of heat and rolling actually softened the stiffness in my arches better than a quick foot bath. Audio immersion is often overlooked in these chairs, but the REDNGO comes with built-in speakers that sync with the LCD control panel. I tried playing a calm playlist while the chair ran a Shiatsu program. The sound was clear enough to mask the low-frequency hum of the rollers, turning the whole session into a mini-spa experience. For people who love to meditate or listen to podcasts while they unwind, that integration can be a real plus. Now, no product is perfect, and the REDNGO has a few practical drawbacks worth mentioning. The first is size. At almost 3 feet wide and a depth that rivals a small sofa, you need a dedicated spot in your living room or a spare bedroom. If you're living in a studio apartment, you'll likely have to sacrifice a piece of furniture you already own. The second point is weight. The chair tips the scales at around 300 pounds, so moving it for cleaning or rearranging isn't a one-person job. If you anticipate needing to shift it often, that could become a hassle. Noise is another factor. While the rollers are quieter than many budget models, the motor still produces a faint whir.